Yes, big up, big up, big up to every single one of you. I hope you're all doing well this weekend. Has been a madness. There is absolutely nothing that I can say anymore about this season and the way that it started, other than everybody is crap, other than Liverpool. And Liverpool, I must say it, aren't even that great, if I'm honest with you yet. It is that bad. Big up to everybody that's on the stream. Big up to everybody that's in the chat. Big up to Roms, who's joined today. We've got Dan, we've got Henry. Judges is on his way. He's having to run to the studio, so he's going to have to jump on his phone in a bit. But listen, I don't know where else to start other than this title race at the moment. Roms, I know we don't have you for too long today. Last time, Arsenal were 8 points clear. City had a game in hand. It went to 5 points, and everyone said it's Arsenal's to lose. Liverpool find themselves 5 points ahead of Manchester City and 9 points ahead of Arsenal game week 11. Is this Liverpool's to lose now?
You know me. For me, it's still. I know people want us to have chest and whatnot. For me, it's still a bit too early in game week 11. We're just speaking about it backstage. I think if City, I have us favourites to beat them at Anfield. I back us at Anfield against everyone, and I know obviously Forest beat us, but we can all see that that was a blip. That since then we've lost at home. I just feel if Spurs take points away from them, because I think we win our next game. I know no game is a guarantee, but I think the two easiest teams in the league probably to play against are Ipswich and Southampton. I know Henry might attest to that, but they are Ipswich and Southampton, and that's our game coming back. So Southampton are very open. So I'm already putting that down as 3 points. And listen, Spurs are City's bogey team, and it would be like Spurs to lose against Ipswich and beat City. I think Henry will even agree. That is just Spurs. If once we win our game and they win, that's 8 points, and I fancy us to beat City at home. I think if we win our next two, City lose our next two, I'm gonna come with chest. It is ours to lose. It'll be 11-point lead. There's no international break, so you get that rhythm, that consistency, playing every 3 days, have that winning momentum. But I think to say it's ours to lose game week 11, knowing that City actually love to be the hunters. They don't even like being at top. They love that chase. And we've been here before with arguably a better manager and a better team and been 7-8 points ahead of City, and they've clawed it back. So I can't sit here and say, yeah, we're favourites, it's ours to lose. It's a bottle game week 11. That's for the rivals to do. But me as a Liverpool fan, I know what City are capable of. And I'm not even writing you lot off, Pots, because this isn't reactionary. I said after the Newcastle game, even if Arsenal don't beat Chelsea, I just think they've got the more favourable run. Our run till now to end of the season is actually quite mad. Even our last 5-6 games in the title race, I think Odegaard coming back is key. I know some Arsenal fans say, but even when we had him, we weren't playing well. Yes, you weren't playing well, but you were still winning games. Because I remember the narrative at the start of the season was, Villa away, Spurs away, City away, and you passed most of them with flying colours. You were literally 30 seconds away from beating City. So yes, you weren't playing well with Odegaard, but you're winning games. I think now he's into the fold. You see his assist yesterday. Obviously, that contributed to a goal. I just think with him coming back, you lot will go on a run. It won't be pretty. I'm not saying Arsenal are going to start playing scintillating football, because you won't, but you will start racking up wins. And I don't count you out of this title race at all, me personally. But to say it's us to lose,
would you count City out? If say City lose to Spurs, I don't think they will. I think Spurs are so unpredictable that Henry's right. I mean, we're saying off air, you don't know what's going to happen with Spurs, right? But say that Man City lose to Spurs and then you beat City. Do you put City out of it and it's just Arsenal that you fancy could go on a run? Because surely I would say it's done then, man. You'll be 9 ahead of us if things stay the same, and you'll be 11 ahead of Man City. That's crazy in 13 games.
If City lose to Spurs and then we beat them, I'm having us as favourites, but I wouldn't say they're out of it. I'll just say we're now favourites. We're in the driving seat. I still think you lot will win games, but that 9 to 10, 11-point deficit is crazy. And I think even for them this season, yes, we've seen them do it before, but Rodri's a big miss. I know they'll sign players, but Rodri is a massive miss. And difference with past City teams, I've always said it. I know they won the treble, but that team consisted of your Mahrez's, your Alvarez's that will chip in with goals. You look at their front line now, other than Haaland, they've got good footballers, but no real output merchant. Savia, I think, is a baller, doesn't really get that many goals. Doku, which I've never really rated, he's not bad, but I just think I think people get confused. Overrated doesn't mean a player is bad. It just means I feel everyone else just puts him at this pedestal he's not at. they don't have much goal scorers. Even KDB, yeah, some City fans say we've got him coming back, but let's be honest, for the last 2-3 seasons, he can't play 9-10 games consistently. They have to like use him sparingly. So yeah, Potts, I can't lie. If City lose and we win and we have that 10 points 11 gap, I think it's ours to lose. We are then the favourites, honestly.
Yeah, Henry, what are you telling me, man, about this title race? Because at the moment, this weekend, bruv, Liverpool won, and then you have to look at Fulham as the other team in the top 8 that won. Everyone else lost or dropped points. It's mad, bro.
Isn't it?
It's actually mad.
I don't remember seeing a Premier League like this in the longest time. Like, it almost feels like, I know it's cliche to say there's no easy game, but Ipswich are coming to Tottenham and winning. Like, who would? I know Thingy predicted that on the terrace, but no one saw that come. I don't care what you say.
You definitely did it, Henry, because you told me to F off when I told you that Ipswich should have you.
Yeah, but I know you were just trolling. Like, David actually meant it.
I wasn't. I actually wasn't. I just thought the way Ipswich play would just play, like the way Tottenham play would just play into Ipswich's hands. I just knew that was their first win coming. It's mad, so Spursy. It's so Spursy.
I know.
That is the Spursiest of Spursy, man. You know, Ipswich haven't won a Premier League game since 2002. Darren Bent.
Yeah, we are Robin Hood of the Premier League. We beat City and then give first wins to Palace and Ipswich. That's beyond this title race, though. I agree with Roms. If City lose to us, which would be a Tottenham thing to do, to go there and get, or even if they get a point if we get a point at the Etihad, which the way we're playing right now, I think Tottenham would fancy their chances the way City are playing. Because we've got this unpredictability about us, which you never know. Which if it's the team played against Ipswich, City could steamroll us. But we have already beaten City this season. If Liverpool then go and beat them the following week, I think it will be done. You can't let Liverpool be 11 points clear after 13 games. That would just be ridiculous. And then even if they're within 7 or 8 points by January, if Liverpool bring in a couple of bodies, a DM and a left back, I think Liverpool will be too far. But the way City are playing right now, particularly 10 goals in 4 games. I said on the terrace, I thought Brighton would win 2-1 just because of the way they played. I just thought, even when City were 1-0 around the 60th, 70th minute, I just didn't fancy them. That back line, like would they have that young player Postecoglou, they had Vardial, Rico Lewis, and I can't remember who the other defender was. Then in midfield, like I don't know what's going on with their attacking players. He's playing. I know Núñez can play as a left mid, but he's predominantly a central midfielder who can play as an 8 in like a box-to-box role. The wide players, like you just said, they're not scoring goals. Savinho's not got a goal in all comps this season. Neither is Grealish. I think Doku's got 1. I know it's easy to say if Haaland gets an injury or whatever, but if he gets a knock where he misses 3 or 4 weeks, I genuinely don't know who scores the goals in the City team, because their second highest top goal scorer, or the second highest goal scorer, is Vardial, and their third highest is John Stones. That if you want to win a league title, you can't. I know Arsenal have done well from set pieces and all that, but if City want to go and win a 5th league in a row, you can't have defenders who's the top highest goal scorers. Your wide players aren't performing. Foden this season, like, when are we going to start giving him criticism? It's no longer a hangover from the Euros. You just ain't been on it this season. No one's really. I know he gets a little bit of a push to the side because he's won league titles and all that, but everyone calls Cole Palmer out when he misses a couple of chances against Man United. So why can't we call Foden out? Like,
I think we have to now. I can't believe what I'm seeing from Foden. I don't know what's happened to him. He's fallen off a cliff. The guy looks completely unrecognizable from last season. I wonder if there's something personal off the field going on.
This isn't all just on Rodri though, either, Potts. Like, I know Rodri's got injured, but that doesn't mistake you for being categorically woeful in front of goal. Right? It doesn't mistake for you being so bad defensively. And let's be honest, I know it's great for them to get last-minute winners, but if you was to hypothetically take out the last-minute winner against Wolves or the last-minute equaliser against Arsenal, how many games have City played this season where they've battered teams? All right, they battered Ipswich 5-0. They're a promoted side. They just about scraped past Southampton at the Etihad. City aren't winning one bit of silverware this season. There's huge problems. No, that's not a big shout, mate. They're at the League Cup. I don't think they're good enough to win the Champions League. Right, the FA Cup, that would probably be the trophy that Arsenal win this season. and I don't think they're winning the league. They look all over the place.
Do you know one thing I'll say? Do you know one thing I'll say? That I feel like just because City have done 4 in a row, it's like people think Pep is immune from criticism. He's not. And do you know why I think he got it wrong this season, right? He gambled on Gundogan kind of being that Rodri replacement, where I'm not going to lie, I can't be a hypocrite. When they signed Gundogan, I thought, you know what? Coming back, he's scored crucial goals in title races for them. I thought, you know what? That's a good signing. When you see
been disappointed, though, Roms. He's been disappointed.
Yeah, when you see how he's played now, Pep took a risk that, let's be honest, we all thought would pay off, and it hasn't. Now you kind of got to look at it saying you didn't plan well from that position. I know at first it looked like that because we thought we'll get the older Gundogan and come back into the Prem, but now I think he missed the trick, and he needs criticism for that. He probably should have signed an out-and-out DM that's quite youthful, that can get around whatnot. I don't even want to I don't even want this to be banter now, but now it might look a bit mad. Them selling Calvin Phillips, he might have been able to do a job now. But
mate, he's falling out of Ipswich now. It's mad, isn't it? But look, I don't know. Before I come to judges on this, Dan, what are you saying about this title race? Because I put Liverpool as favourites now, and I'm never gonna ever say that City won't win it, and I still probably would put money on them winning it because that's what City do, right? Arsenal, I just think we're out of it. I know a lot of people will come onto that in a bit, but Liverpool, I mean, maybe I'm harsh when I say this. I haven't been like, wow, they look unbeatable. They're blitzing teams, because they haven't been. They've just been going along, doing the job, and sometimes that's enough, Dan.
Yeah, I agree with you on the Liverpool thing. I don't think they've been scintillating. I don't think they've needed to be, because I actually feel that from about the second international break, the teams around them have started just to fall away from them, and they've just sort of kept pushing on, getting results. No one's really been talking about Liverpool until other teams fell off around them. No one was saying, "Oh, Liverpool keep winning, they're going to go and win the league." It's like, "Oh, City aren't very good, Arsenal haven't been very good. Maybe Liverpool could do it now." So I only think it'll be sort of post-Christmas that we really sort of start to think that Liverpool really can do this. But the way they've started and the way they're going about their fixtures, I honestly think they're the best team in the league, even though they're not putting tons of goals past. I think defensively they look so solid, and the way Slot's got the way Slot's got them playing as well is very controlled, very precise with how they're going to break down teams. And he's such an intelligent manager. The way he speaks about a game and how he just changes stuff in the middle of the game, it's refreshing to see, because I feel like I've not seen that in a while. So I think at the moment, for me, Liverpool are the favourites. Manchester City, I think it depends how close they are by the time January comes around, to be honest. If City are there or thereabouts, a couple of points off, they might manage to recruit well in January and then put up a sort of second win title fight. Look, I'll be honest, Arsenal yesterday, that don't look like a team that's going to win the Prem. I just don't. I think you look more creative than you have in weeks gone by. I think with Odegaard coming back, and you did have a few chances, but I don't think Chelsea are anywhere near a team that are good enough to win the Premier League. And if you can't beat us, I just, end of last season, I know it was at the Emirates, but you beat us like 5-0. And I was like, maybe Arsenal are good enough to go and win the league. And if not now, they might do it next season. That didn't look anywhere near the Arsenal team that beat us 5-0 last season. So that's it for me. And funny enough, the team that are currently in third place, I don't think they've got any chance of winning the league.
No, it's interesting, man. I've got to say it. And Lee, let me come to you. 2 questions. First of all, on the title race, where you see Liverpool, City, and Arsenal, and anyone else. And Z, who is a Man United fan, has said, if this Liverpool win the Premier League, it would be an embarrassment, in my opinion. I hear quite a lot of people like talking about this, and like, are people disrespecting Liverpool too much, bruv?
Well, I don't know why it's an embarrassment. Like 2 years ago, when Arsenal were challenging for the league, no one was saying that, it's an embarrassment that Arsenal were challenging for the league and Liverpool should be challenging for it. When Liverpool had a little fall off for a couple of seasons, it happens. You know what I mean? Liverpool have had 2 seasons, well, 1 season when they fell off. Really, last season, I think people forget that they, up until the game at home at Crystal Palace, they were 5 points. Up until they played us, was it March? I can't remember when it was. Like, they were 5 points clear of us. So with 10 games to go. So I think people underestimating and saying that about Liverpool is wrong. They was in the title race for most of last season, and they've just tweaked it a little bit with the new manager coming in, and they've done fantastically well. I think you have to give credit where credit's due. If you have a look at all the other teams around at this moment in time, Aston Villa, Arsenal, Manchester City, all in the Champions League, all having a massive fallout at the moment because it's tiredness. I don't know what it is, but Liverpool have kept churning out the results. And I disagree with Dan. Listen, I'm not going to argue with Dan after seeing him yesterday. I didn't realise how big the fella was.
He texted me, Dan, and he went, "I do it, Dan," and he's about 8 foot. I was like, "Yeah, he's a big
I
lump."
could not believe what I was seeing yesterday. This big monster comes up to me and goes, "Oh, I'm Dan." And I thought, "You don't recognise me?" And I said, "No, I don't." I thought, I could not believe what I see, but there you go. But I think that, Chelsea are a decent side, particularly at home. It's a hard place to go and get a result. And I'll tell you something now, Arsenal played a lot better than what they did last season there. And we got a point. We're just talking in the studio at this moment in time. Do I think Arsenal are out of the title race? I think it's going to be very, very difficult from now on. But if you look at, and I know you probably shouldn't do it, you look at the results of last season, lost at Newcastle, drew at Chelsea, lost at Aston Villa. So realistically, the away form at this moment in time isn't that much different to what it was last season. It's important now that Arsenal get on a run. Me and Dan were talking about this earlier on. There's no excuses now. They've got to go on a run till Christmas. If they can do that, who knows? But at the moment, I don't see it with Arsenal. I think we was talking too many players out of form. I felt that the front 3 or 4 yesterday, not quite at it. You got to give Odegaard a pass, if I'll be honest. To come back and play like he did for his first game. I can't believe there's people around criticising his performance yesterday. When you think about it, he's been out for 6 weeks. To come in and put in 90 minutes like that, I think was remarkable. I thought we could probably get about 60 minutes out of him, but to do what he did is a good base. Obviously, he's going to get a lot fitter. I think he will help our attacking play. I thought Saka was. I've looked back at the game. I thought it was great in Cucurella, but I think Cucurella just probably won that. But there's a lot of negativity about Arsenal at the moment. And all this thing about, we need a striker, got to get a striker, So what a Man City got to get in? They've got a striker, and they're struggling. You know what I mean? Like, I'll tell you what. Now, this is the thing about things at the moment. I'm not trying to stick up for Arsenal or Havertz or whoever up front. If that was Arsenal playing Brighton, there would be a meltdown of the chances they missed in that first half. They should have been 4-0 up. They should have been 4-0 up, and they end up losing the game. So I think at the end of the day, Arsenal's just got to get themselves back into it. I thought, do you know what I think at this moment in time? Liverpool at the moment, defensively, are the best. I even think yesterday, I had a look at the goal. Yeah, I even look at the goal yesterday, Dan. It's a great goal by Neto, don't get me wrong, but we could have avoided that. There was poor defending in it, if I'll be honest. Poor from us, and they should have had a goal in the first half, Chelsea, from an header. Poor defending again. It was Martinelli on the back post. Where's their central defenders? So even though we're controlling the game a little bit there, we're still not quite, I don't know, set in our defensive shape as well. I felt that at times yesterday, I don't know how you felt. You was at the game yesterday, Dan. I always felt we was not in control, but I thought we was on the front. Every time they counter attacked us, I felt vulnerable. I thought, and I don't know if that meant we was a little bit cautious going into it. Like when we went 1-1, I was thinking they're going to nick it. They're going to nick this 2-1. They're going to nick it 2-1, So I don't know if there's a little bit of that in there, but for me, the title race, listen, Liverpool are 9 points in front at the moment, and deservedly so. You have to give them credit where credit's due. But a couple of defeats, a couple of draws, and it's all back on. That's if Arsenal and Man City can get on the winning ways. The thing is, what I
we were just saying, Lee, Man City got Spurs and Liverpool next. If Spurs beat City, which you never know with them, and Liverpool beat City, that's 11 points in front of City and 9 ahead of Arsenal.
Yeah. Well, listen, if, as I said to you now, if Arsenal win their next 10 games and they're still 9 points behind Liverpool, you've got to hold your hands up. But, Liverpool have got some difficult games to come, and also Champions League games in between that as well. So it'd be interesting. Liverpool at this moment in time, it's theirs to lose. But we've been there before. We was 8 points clear, and didn't see it over the line. So I'm not saying it's over for Man City or Arsenal at the moment, but it's going to be very, very difficult from here. And at the end of the day, you're relying on if Arsenal are going to win the league, Dan, they've got to get on a run, and then they've got to go to Anfield and win. The thing about that performance yesterday of Chelsea, we lost one, we drew 1-1, but we all knew we had to win it. I think if Arsenal would have won that game yesterday, we would be sitting here saying we've got a chance of winning the title. But we knew we had to win that game yesterday, and we didn't. And I think that's where the disappointment comes in. You can't keep going around. And I'm guilty of it. Going, it's a must win. And then when we don't win it, going, oh well, we're still in it. There's got to be a time when you have to say, no. We
what I don't get though is there's a lot of people that go, it's nothing. We beat them, and then Man City beat them twice. It's all good. Yeah, that's if we win every single other game.
Yeah, you got.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can't work like that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
We've got to win. We've got to start winning games of football. We haven't won in 4 league games now, is it? I think our last win was against Preston. And we've got to start winning games, and at home it's a little bit different, I know, but you've got to start winning somewhere. I didn't think we'd done enough to win the game yesterday. When I look back at it, I felt that I don't think Chelsea were there for the taking. They're a decent side. I think Dan is underestimated, trying to keep the lid on Chelsea at the moment. A few of the old Chelsea fans were doing that yesterday, They've got some very, very good players, Chelsea. And, look at the players that they're bringing on. I don't think there's anybody with a bigger and better squad than Chelsea. And I think also with Chelsea, they're playing, they're just playing the Premier League at the moment, like with that squad. They're not playing cups with that squad. They could be a little bit fresher than
don't disrespect the Conference League against Noah, mate. Come on.
But you know what I mean.
It's the rotation, isn't it, Lee? It's the rotation. We've got 11 players. Yeah,
players playing differently, and so I think that how can I say it yesterday? I know we're all a little bit disappointed about yesterday, but we'd gone to Inter Milan on the Wednesday, travelled back, and then with virtually the same team, played a fresher Chelsea, and still.
And St James the week before that, it's been rough. It's been rough.
It has been tough. We're not making excuses. That's what we knew that was coming. That's why you need a big squad. So I don't think it was as bad a point as what people are making out yesterday. But I get the reasons why people are saying it was a bad point. But
I think it's the results on top of it that ain't helped. That's where Arsenal have gone through a bad patch, and it ain't looking good at the moment. Look, in terms of the game, I thought I'll come to you boys as well on this because I actually like to hear your thoughts on it. But I thought Caicedo and Partey were the two best midfield players. I actually didn't think Odegaard had a very good first half, but second half, I thought he was really good. And really come into it, obviously set up the goal. I thought our attack was as blunt could be. I thought Cucurella was one of the best players on the pitch. I thought he locked up Saka, if I'm honest. I didn't think Gusto was that great. I didn't think Cole Palmer was very good at all, if I'm honest. Other than that, I thought Neto is so much better on the right, Dan. Like, so much better on the right. And you could see straight away, cutting in, bang, goal. And I know that none of us closed him down, and I think Martinelli has to hold a massive L for that. I don't know what he's doing there, just watching him, not marking anyone. And then you got Timber and Gabriel as well. But for me, quite an even game, probably a fair result. I think Chelsea probably had the better chances, if I'm honest. I think Fofana had a chance with a shot that went just over the bar. Gusto had a header. Madueke actually had a header people forget about in the first half as well, which I think he should have done better with. And Arsenal had the chance with Martinelli, which, he's just, I don't even know how he's just hit that straight as Sanchez, isn't he? He's just got to bury that, it's just poor from Martinelli. Obviously got his chance. But everything else that we created, I don't know what you boys thought, but everything was offside with Arsenal. Literally everything was offside. Even that chance at the end, Saliba was offside. It's just like, get onside, boys. Like, it's poor that. Jesus offside when he come on. Martinelli offside. Saliba was actually, if that right at the end when Trossard and Havertz missed that thing, that would have been offside. They reckon if they would actually look at that VAR. So, look, man, I was a little bit disappointed with us going forward. But Dan, I don't know what your thoughts were of the game, bro.
Yeah, I think a draw was probably a fair result in the end. I think both teams had chances to probably nick it, but neither were really clinical enough to take those chances. Martinelli, I thought that chance was a must finish, to be honest with you, where he was 1-on-1 with Sanchez. I couldn't quite believe Sanchez saved it, to be honest. I mean, I felt like Arsenal looked better than what they've done in recent weeks. I have to say that. I think Arsenal looked like a team more familiar to what we've seen last season. I just think Odegaard is so crucial for that team. I think so much weight is on him in terms of how you create going forwards, that if he's not in the side, I feel like you seem a lot more limited. I think Havertz is quite clearly shown in the last couple of games that there are games where he can go missing. And that's when you need a different type of striker to be able to come off the bench. And maybe you can leave Havertz on, but allow him to
That's the thing, Dan, just quickly, because I don't blame just Havertz here. People think I hate Havertz. I don't hate Havertz. I think he's done very well, and I think he's scored 1 in 2 goals since back end of January, pretty much last year, right? It's definitely improved. I feel a bit sorry for him, because I feel we're now looking at him going, go on then, score. Oh, you're crap if you don't score. He's got nothing else, mate. We got nothing else. We're bringing on Jesus. He's crap. We've got Sterling. I know he couldn't play yesterday. He's no good. We're bringing on. We're relying on Ethan Waneri, who, by the way, should have come on yesterday. I don't know what more this kid's got to do to be playing games. By the way, what Jesus and Marino have done ahead of Waneri, I don't get.
Can I just say that Marino? He's so unathletic. The way he moves about the pitch. Oh my! I don't know what you've done recruiting him. To be honest, that was not what you needed.
Do you know what it is, Dan? I don't like writing off players in their first season because we know this is one of the hardest leagues in the world. I always like to give a foreign player a season to kind of bed in. But I think with Marino, you can just tell. I can see him just being a squad player for Arsenal. I think next summer they'll probably buy him more in the midfield. And sometimes that you just have to play your role. I can see him being kind of coming on, seeing the game out. But to be a starter for Arsenal Football Club long term, I can't see it with Marino. I think you're spot on.
He come into the game, Roms, but the first 3 passes were all a fray. I'm thinking, what is this guy doing? He started to get a bit better. He started to move us forward a bit, and I thought, come on in. But I still don't know what this guy is. Judges, I don't know about you, bro. Do you get this Marino's? What is he?
Not at the moment. I am sort of like the jury's out on him. But the one thing I will say, I don't know if you noticed it when he was warming up. We was quite close to. He's a big. I think he's a bit overweight as well. You know what I mean? I look at some of the players. I know that's a bad thing to say, but he's got one massive bum, hasn't he? You know what I mean? So I'm not a bum man, but Jesus Christ, I couldn't help but look at it all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Look, man,
I actually turned around to a couple of my mates and said, he's got a bigger bum than he should have. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know if he's quite as fit as he should be because of the injury and having no pre-season. I don't know. That's the second game, by the way. He starts awful, doesn't he? He gets better as the game goes on. I thought he'd done all right in the end, if I'll be honest. But I'm looking at him and I'm thinking and I don't know if you felt this, Dan. I'm looking at it and thinking, could he have brought Waneri on there and played like Waneri in that role? But would we have been more susceptible to the counter attack? I don't know. So that's the if it was a must-win game, would he have put him? Say if that was a cup final or a cup game or something, I think he would have put Waneri on instead of Marino. I don't know, but I'm with you guys on it. I think at this moment in time, you've just still got to give him a little bit of time. I don't really see where he's going to fit into the team if everybody's fit. Thomas Partey, Rice, and Odegaard is the midfield, isn't it? If all fit and firing. So and to be honest, we looked a lot better with them 3 in there. And if you be really honest about it, 2 of them weren't even fit. You know what I mean?
So you could tell they weren't, Lee, as well. I know you mentioned Odegaard, but Rice, you could tell. Yeah.
And obviously, the inject, he's limping at the end because of the injection. I'd imagine he's had an injection and it's wore off. Normally wears off about 60, 70 minutes. So from that point of view, and he hasn't really impressed me as much as I thought he was going to. But he's saying that he nearly got on the end of that that chance at the end. Maybe if he was a little bit fitter, he could have got it. I don't know. You know what I mean? I think it's a little bit too harsh to judge it. But I tell you what, now with football, whether it's you've got to come in and hit the ground running, haven't you? If you don't, there's going to be criticism. It's as simple as that. And you know, I think that you look at the two signings, and I think this is where we had a conversation about this yesterday. You got Calafiori and Marino. By buying them two, it's probably maybe stopped us buying the striker. Like, should have we have got the striker and not worried about them two, because like Marino's not been great. Calafiori's this is his second injury, so I don't know. And I mean, I think that could be when you look at Marino and you look at not so much Calafiori, but look at Marino, you're thinking like, as you just said, he's going to be a squad player. Really, do we need squad players? I think we need someone that's going to get us over the line. I don't see him being a midfield player that's going to get us over the line.
He's just replaced El Neni for me. He's not really upgraded upon El Neni. Sorry, Robs, I know you want to come in, mate. Go on.
You know, Judges is spot on, because normally, let's say Arsenal were still competing for top four. Your players like Marino and Calafiori, they can have that bedded in period. When you're going for a league title, there's no time to really get to grips with things. You literally need to come in and hit the ground running. There's no real sentiment. I feel like fans will have more patience if your objective was maybe just secure top four. But now you're going for that league that you lot are capable of winning. It's like you can't afford to kind of put in underwhelming performances. I think Judges is spot on. But I want to go back to something you said, Potts, about Havertz. I kind of agree with you, because I've always said, even when Havertz was at Chelsea, he's a part of a good attack, but he can't be the main talisman. I don't think he can be the main man. Go and win me with this league. And I know you said from January, I think he's got 1 and 2. His record at the Emirates, I saw it the other day, is sublime. Like, since January, this calendar year, Havertz's record is crazy. But I feel like for us to go that next level, this is why you lot were kind of screaming out for a striker. He's part of a good attack. I think he can't be your main focal point. Let's get to Havertz. Let's win us that game. I believe for either team, because Chelsea fan Dan's spot on. Like, I think a draw was the right result for yesterday. But I think a number 9 for either side wins one of you that game. Yeah. If one of you lot had that prolific 9, let's say it was a Gokres or Isaac or these names that are being floated about, if either side had that 9, I think the side that had that 9 would win the game. Because
you know what's funny, Ron, as well? When I was doing combined 11s with people, we were deciding who to put up front, Jackson or Havertz. It wasn't long ago I was deciding between Henry or Drogba. That's how far the top. You know what I'm saying? We've fallen so far now. It's like, who's better, Nicholas Jackson or Havertz? It's like, oh, I don't really like either, but I suppose him. Yeah, and I'm just like, come on, man. That just proves Chelsea and Arsenal need a striker, man. Come on.
Even Jackson, right? Dan, I think you'll agree, right? Chelsea fans are waxing lyrical about him. He has had a good season this year, but would you agree, Dan, last maybe 3-4 games, he's had a slight drop in form?
Do you know what I think's happened?
Before Dan, sorry.
Go on, Josh.
Before you say anything, listen, I've got to drop like that, you know what I mean? So,
big up, Lee. Sorry, mate. Go on.
No worries. I've got to go. Like
big up. Enjoy the studio, mate. Give Abby some stick.
I really want to talk to Henry about Ipswich, though. You know what I mean? But I won't. I'll leave that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Have a good
Give Abby some stick, mate. See you in a bit.
See you, Judges.
Take care, mate.
Big up. Legend, man. Sorry, Dan. Go on, bro.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna. I agree with you, sorry, I don't know why I keep doing that, Roms. I don't know what's going on here, but I did that the other day, didn't I? I think you two put up the picture the weekend, and I was like, oh my gosh. Right. Anyway, look, Jackson in terms of goal scoring definitely has dried up last couple of games. I think he got a disallowed goal yesterday. He looked okay, but he didn't really get involved much in the game. And I actually think where Jackson's been so good is that away from the goal, he normally gets quite involved and he drives Chelsea forwards and he tries to do a bit. But I don't know. I don't know whether the Cole Palmer sort of change in positions affecting that attacking link up a little bit for me with Chelsea in the last couple of games. Because since Newcastle, Palmer's been playing more on the left than he has on the right. And I'm not sure. I think Chelsea and Arsenal, I think that's a good point. Both of us, our attacking quality is just not where it needs to be good enough to fight for titles, or what history even suggests these two teams should have going forwards. I think Dan's spot on. It's ridiculous that we used to be able to speak about Drogba and Henry, and now we're speaking about Havertz and Jackson, who have quite obviously got their flaws when it comes to being good enough to win the biggest trophies in
Do you not
football.
think that, like, you look around the league though now, and that's not just Arsenal and Chelsea I'm having a dig at there. Like, it weren't long ago, like Liverpool and Villa, the game, like we were talking about their strikers, like Fowlers and Owens and Torres and Suarez, and now it's like Darwin Núñez, or it's like, what's going on here?
Top quality strikers have definitely disappeared, haven't they? I think for a while it became like a really unattractive position because everyone was sort of moving towards a false nine, and Pep wasn't having a striker. And then Pep brought back Haaland. Now everyone's desperate to get someone of a similar sort of stature to Haaland, or be a Scandinavian 6'4" monster. Like Man United went out and signed Højlund straight away. Gyökeres is the next best thing since sliced bread. So it's like, who's been working on developing strikers for the last 10 years? Probably not that many clubs, unless it's like, you know, certain countries are just renowned for producing striker after striker after striker. But for me, there's definitely a shortage. And I just think, actually, a team should be looking at having maybe a Havertz and a Jackson, so that where Jackson has flaws, Havertz excels. And maybe if you haven't got a good enough striker to get you the 50 goals that, say, Haaland's getting, get yourself two strikers that are capable of getting 20, 25 goals between them in a decent partnership. Because I think so many teams now have strikers that are limited and able to do one thing but not another. In years gone by, we were blessed with strikers that were able to do everything.
Yeah, man. Look, I love a two up top. I've always loved the two up top, man. Look, I got a question for Roms before he goes. But Henry, let me ask you this, bruv. Do you see Chelsea and Arsenal in top four races, or do you think that it's like too early for all that talk? Do you still think Arsenal will be title race and Chelsea will be Champions League?
I think the City's next 2 weeks, I think, will decide that in terms of game weeks. If they lose to us and Liverpool beat them, then I think essentially I don't think there is a race. I think Liverpool will run away with it. But if, for whatever reason, if City beat Arsenal and they go to Anfield and win, which I can't remember the last time they did that, then it opens up the door. I mean, you've got Forest and who's next? Is it Forest or is it Southampton?
Arsenal got Forest, and then we've got West Ham and Man United.
And Ruben will be in then as well. So
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be very, very difficult for Arsenal to win the leagues. I'm not completely writing them off because teams have pulled 8 or 9 points, but 9 points on game 11 and the way Liverpool don't like slowing down, it's kind of hard to see them, you know, putting it back. But at the same time, it's such early doors, isn't it? It's still 25 or whatever it is, 26 games left or whatever it is.
The other thing I will say about Liverpool quickly, Roms, which I wanted to touch with you, is how good is your squad? Now, hear me out, because clearly it's good enough at the moment. You're flying in the Champions League and the league, right? But if you was to get a knock to a Salah or a Van Dijk, like we've had with Odegaard and Saka, and like what Man City have had with Rodri and De Bruyne in the past, how will you cope? Because I like your squad. I think it's good. I think you have actually got a very good squad, right? And I've always said that I thought it was up there with one of the bests. But who replaces Salah? Does Harvey Elliott come in? Does one of them go to the right, a Gakpo or something? Does that look the same? Does, you have enough quality with Quansah coming in alongside? You're going to drop off basically, right? And that's where I'm looking at with Liverpool. I've always said that Liverpool probably 3 players away from really getting across the line. Now, you could get across the line this season without those 3, right? But that's where I'm at with Liverpool. Do you have worries that if you get injuries, your squad will be able to cope still?
It's exactly that. Do you see why I don't say... You're going to get some Liverpool fans within this next week saying, we're favourites now, that's it. But do you see what I said from the start of the season? We have got an 11 to win the league. I've always said it. Arsenal and City got great start. If we all got our best starting 11, I do believe we're still up there. But we don't have the squad because, like you said, Salah gets injured. We brought in Chiesa. We've barely seen him. I was one of them fans that were quite optimistic that he played the most minutes out of Juve. Out of all the Juve players last season. You know what? I think he's not as injury prone anymore. I had egg on my face within 2 weeks. So the right-hand side is Salah's to get a knock, which Touch really done because bar last season, he stays fit for the last 8 years. I think the special thing about Salah is not only his output, and he's a big game winner, he rarely gets injured. That is a testament to him. He looks after his body very well. But it's not just, for me, it wasn't just Salah. It's if we get injury to Gravenberch, you then drop down to Endo and Morton. I rate Tyler Morton, but to charge us to be that starting DM in a title race, I'm not too sure. You go to both our left backs for me aren't good enough. A lot of Liverpool fans want to sell Robbo. I'll have him as the second. I have him as the deputy left back. I still feel like you need characters in your dressing room like Robbo. It's Tsimikas for me, the one I'd let go. I think he's 27, 28, still in his prime. We can get decent money for him. And even the centre-back parents, right? Konate and Van Dijk, I'm running out of things to say about both of them because I was critical of Konate last season, but Arne Slot has ironed out his tendency to be quite rash. He's just smooth right now. He's not making needless challenges, whatnot. But for me, one of them get injured. Jarell Kwanzaa, I've always said, I rate Kwanzaa, but I feel like he still is a bit lightweight, and that's fine. He still is very young, but he's not really good aerially. I feel like he can get bounced off the ball a bit quick, easily. Joe Gomez can slot in, but again, because of injuries, he has lost that yard of pace. I even think centre-back wise, and this is why we were looking at one. If one of Konate and Van Dijk were to get injured, I think there's another drop there. But for me, my main concern is the midfield, because if Grav goes down, Endo and Morton, there's a drop-off. I think our front six, we've got enough depth. Jota's always getting injured, but Gakpo, Diaz, Nunes, they don't really get injured. So you're always going to have roughly 4 out of
and
the six.
He's got a lot out of Gakpo and Nunes, I think. Gakpo and Diaz.
Exactly. And I always say the hallmark of a great manager is improving players. And I think Konate, Gravenberch, and Diaz, mainly them three, have gone up another level under Arne Slot. So that's why I'm not going too far ahead. Dan, are we in a good position to win the title? Of course, we're 5 points clear. But we need to make additions in January, because the only way I believe we can win this league without making additions in January is if we said what we said at the start of the stream. If Spurs beat City and we beat City, I think even if we don't make additions in January, 11 points is still a lot. You're looking at us to lose 4 games or draw, because draws are like losses as well. Because I'll rather get a win. I'll rather get a win and a loss than just get 2 draws, because you obviously will still get more points with a win and a loss. So draws are like losses in title races. But to answer your question, we still need to do more in the only way we won't really have to add in January is if we go 11, 12 clear of City, because I think even with injuries, that should be enough. With injuries and without signings, that still should be enough to win the league. But yeah, I think we've got a title winning 11, not a title winning squad. I've been consistent with that from the start of the season.
Yeah, man, I think you're a left back, a defensive midfielder, and a striker away from having pretty much everything covered. Maybe a centre back, but them two have been so good, and Kwanzaa actually thinks decent. But
the reason why I disagree with striker, quickly just before I go, we share the goals with the front line, and a guy I was critical of with Gakpo, him on that left, and I was getting slated by my fan base, and I have to hold my hands up. I said Gakpo is just not a start for us. He's not good enough. They're like, let him have his run on the left. Every game he's played. In fact, he probably was a bit pissed off that he didn't start at the weekend, because like, hold on, I'm putting in all these performances and I'm dropped again. But he has been sublime on the left. Luis Diaz is having one of the seasons of his life. Salah's just Salah. Nunes chipped in, even though he should have had another few. I think for you lot, like a striker is paramount. For us, we've got enough in that department. If Jota can come back, he never stays fit. But if Jota can come back,
that's what I'm saying, though. That is the reason I say.
Yeah.
Because if Jota was like not injury prone, I'm like, you don't need a striker. But I don't know that Nunes is Jota, and I think if he was to go and get a proper number 9, you would say Jota is your backup, and he's just there and around. And then you've got the likes of maybe you look at Nunes on the right wing after Salah, because he can cut in on his left and bang him in like we saw against Bournemouth. Maybe we look at that as an option. I don't know.
Elliot, I think right wing will be Elliot or Chiesa when if he even comes back, but it'll be Elliot, because Elliot either plays in the 10 or the right, and his pre-season performances on the right were good, even back in the last season. Harvey Elliott, I'm glad you actually mentioned him, Dan, because when he comes back, we've now got 3 players fighting for that 10. Gravenberch and McAllister,
good player,
very good player. Gravenberch and McAllister are 2 stalemates within the midfield 3. But you got Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones, who's playing out of his skin, and Harvey Elliott, all 3 battling for that 10 position. These are the headaches you want. And that is one area in our team that we're fully equipped to go for a league title, in my opinion. We've got 3 number 10s that if one drops off, that's fine. The other one will come in. But yeah, man, I just feel in January I'd have to add. If we don't have that 10 to 11 point lead, we'll definitely have to add in January. But Potts,
I love, man. Thanks for coming on, bro. I appreciate it.
Big up the chat as well.
Roms.
Come on, man. Make sure you follow Roms, people, on his Twitter and socials there, man. Big up, Roms. Appreciate you coming on, man. Really do. Love, man. Lads, might as well finish it off with roasting Henry a bit, shall we? Look.
I was hoping he was gonna ignore that game, but Clearly
Spurs are
not.
Spursy. Spurs are Spursy. I can't believe that stat, by the way. That Ipswich haven't won a game in the Premier League since 2002. And
No,
it's like Spurs are like, hold my beer. Mate, go on.
I'll tell you what's more alarming is that someone sent this to me this morning. It might have been Tobes in a group chat. Let me quickly find it. Here it is. This was a tweet yesterday, and I'd had to make sure it was right. Since the Chelsea 4-1 defeat at home, we've won 17, lost 17, and drawn 4. Won 17, lost 17, and drawn 4. That is a side that's mid-table. That is absolutely embarrassing. And look, the margins are very, 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 very small. We could have beat Ipswich and been third because of the results around us benefited us, but we didn't. We didn't beat them, did we? We lost. We are the Robin Hood of the fucking Premier League, mate. Teams want points. Just play Spurs. We give Palace their first win. We give Ipswich their first win. It's not good enough, mate. Like, and everyone, I put a TikTok out yesterday saying that sack this manager now. And I've been saying this on and off. I keep changing my mind when we win. I see a little bit of progression and I'm like, do you know what? There might be something in there. But, mate, our Premier League stats this season, we have played the bottom 3 teams in Crystal Palace, Leicester, and Ipswich. We haven't beaten any of them. We gave Ipswich their first win. We gave Crystal Palace their first win, and we couldn't beat Leicester at the King Power. Yeah, fair enough. We spanked West Ham side, but equally we're 3 points off the top 3, but we're also 3 points off 13th. And let's say we don't beat Man City, which, let's be honest, we're not going to be favourites going into that game. If we don't beat Man City and Man United win around us, which I don't know who United have got next. United have got Ipswich Town next. If United go to Ipswich and beat them, which the way they're playing at the moment, that will be Ruben's first game. You'd expect them to get another new manager bounce. This absolutely diabolical Man United side will be above us. So what does that say about us? And no one can blame Levy now. Yes, we haven't recruited properly, but he's given the manager money and he's gone out and he's bought these players. With 350 million quid down the drain at the moment, right? We've won 2 of our last 5 Premier League games. If it wasn't for Victor Osimhen being off of it Thursday night, he could have had 6 goals.
He destroyed you, mate. He destroyed you.
It flatters us. Don't get me wrong. We brought on Benson Cole.
You, man. But you know what? I actually can't stand this Postecoglou's interviews now. He's so cringy and rude and rash. I don't know if you saw him yesterday.
That one yesterday was bad, wasn't it?
What was he on about? Like, so it's on me. So it's on you, not the players. Well, that's what I just said, mate. It's obviously me who's the problem because I got. And I think just shut up. Just shut up and go and win your team a game because it's embarrassingly cringeworthy now. Like I actually liked him when he first came to Spurs, and that's from an Arsenal fan. I thought actually this guy's cool. I always remember that great interview he had with the disabled young lad, and he said, "No, but you asked me a question, mate. It was great rapport, great." But I thought, do you know what? He seems like a people person, and looks like someone who's going to come in. But now he's just trying. He is the most stubborn plan A, and he's literally proud that he has one way of style, and that's it. And this ain't the Scottish League, man. You can get away with that if you're Celtic or go back to Australia and do it, but he ain't going to do that at Spurs. I obviously hope he stays. You're right, Henry, for once it ain't Levy because Levy's given him 400 million euros to spend in his time already, which is more than enough. And if I'm honest with you, I can't see him improving many of these players. I don't think he has improved the likes of the players he's brought in. I don't really understand the Timo Werner signing. I understand he's sticking with Brennan Johnson and he's scoring, but he isn't good enough in my opinion. I still don't know if Dominic Solanke's going to make it at Tottenham because it's 1 goal, then he goes missing, 1 goal, then he goes missing. I don't really understand the midfield balance with Ange. He seems to have, he's allergic to playing James Maddison for 90 minutes. There's a lot going on.
James Maddison's a disgrace, to be honest with you. His performances this season have been absolutely fucking diabolical. Our best player, and I've been saying this since the first game week, our best player in this team is Dejan Kulusevski. In the 8th role, he has been absolutely ridiculous for us. You know? I mean, James Maddison, I reckon he'll be sold within the next 12 months.
Wow.
Andrew's not getting the most out of him, Dan. He just keeps getting stinker and hooked. He's coming off the bench. Okay, he scored a free kick against Aston Villa. Boo-hoo. It was already 3-1 up. Who cares?
Henry, do you find Maddison does too much talking as well?
Yeah, mate, the PR of this guy, right? Don't get me wrong, I was buying into it, but he's standing there wearing a Gaza shirt and everyone's like, oh, it's absolutely fantastic, you know, this and that. And I'm just like, mate, Look at us. We're fucking 10th. We're 10th. This is a club that was in the Champions League final 5 years ago. We're 10th. Is that good enough? Absolutely bloody not. I don't want to get you demonetised for keep swearing, but a Brentford side that have lost Ivan Toney, we're above them on goal difference. We're 1 point above Bournemouth. We're 4 points above bloody West Ham. Like, yeah, the margins are great. We win a couple of games, we're third. But are we going to win the next couple of games? We've got Fulham away. We've got Man City away. And we've got someone else in there that's pretty tough. We've got Fulham at home, which I don't know if we'll beat. Then we've got Bournemouth away under the lights at 8 o'clock. Then we've got Chelsea. Then we've got Rangers. Then we've got Southampton, then Man United, then Liverpool, Forest, and Newcastle. Like,
at least you'll beat Rangers. I got this question. I don't think me and Dan should answer this. I think Henry should really. Z says, Potts and Dan, I'll give it to Henry. 3 questions. Who's Tottenham? What are Tottenham? What is the purpose of Tottenham? The reason I ask is because someone on the stream the other day was like, what are Tottenham and what is the purpose of them? And no one could actually answer.
The purpose of Tottenham is a fucking social experiment to see how loyal someone can be. Not winning a trophy for 17 years is categorically unacceptable. When in that time, Wigan have won an FA Cup. Swansea have won a League Cup. I don't know if either of you saw it. I was on the terrace a couple of weeks ago and they said, "What would you get rid of your fiance for a quadruple?" And I said, "I love my missus to bits, but if you offer me an FA Cup this season, there's plenty more women out there. There ain't another FA Cup this season, is there?" Now, I hope she's not watching it because I'll probably be in a doghouse tonight. But mate, it ain't acceptable. It's absolutely. What is the purpose of Tottenham? I don't know. Daniel, a West Ham fan put it out. I can't wait. He's got a big following, and he was like, Tottenham are such a strange football club. How are you beating Man City and Villa, but not beating Palace and Ipswich? And that's where I can't the analogy. We are Robin Hood. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if we go to the Etihad and beat them 2-1 or 3-2. We've done it before. We're their bogey team. We went there last year with 4 fullbacks and come back with a point. But then the following week, mark my words, we will lose at home to Fulham. I've never seen a football club in all my years across all European leagues, across the Bundesliga, La Liga, Liga, and Serie A. I've never seen a football club that is this unpredictable. Because it would be something like Tottenham would get spanked by Bournemouth and then beat Chelsea. I just don't know what's going on. Like Ange Postecoglou, Son at the moment. He's on. He looks like he's fell off a cliff. Vicario, mate. Did anyone see that second goal? Like the first over a kick from Sammy, whatever his stupid name is embarrassing. He just falls on the floor, right? And Vicario's little touch, and then it hits Dragusin. Mate, I told you, didn't I? When Van der Beek's hamstring goes, it's curtains. Everyone laughed at me. You're negative. His hamstring's gone. We ain't won a game.
Didn't it go exactly the same point last year?
Yeah, exactly. Since then, we lost
10 games in or something.
We lost to bloody Ipswich.
Mate, that's Sammy Smodics, by the way. That Sammy Smodics used to play for Colchester, and he was at Romford doing 1-to-1 sessions 2 months ago.
Yeah, what?
And he's just got overhead kick at the Tottenham Stadium. It's absolutely hilarious.
Was it Leeds he was at as well?
Blackburn,
that's the one. Yeah, he did really well.
He's actually a really good player. He's actually a really good player. But yeah, because I only know because like Colchester's my local, and he was like proper balling out there, and everyone's like, we're not going to keep him. And then he just went up to the next level, went to Blackburn, and then obviously Ipswich have snapped him up. But I looked at Tottenham, and I just think there's okay in most of your areas of the team. Other than, I would say, Kulusevski, I think has been ridiculously good, man. I must say, in that 8, I think he's been phenomenal. I don't think Vicario has been found out for a while now, if I'm honest with you. I think your centre-halves have good and bad times. Like Romero, I can't say consistent Romero in the same sentence. Because 1 minute he's balling out, next minute he's making a disaster howler. I actually do really rate Van de Ven, but obviously he's injured at the moment. Dragusin, I'm not too sure about him yet. Obviously, your fullbacks, I don't know what's happened to a Doggy, but he doesn't quite look on it as much. I think Porro's a really good going forward, but defensively, I'm not sure.
I don't think your Doggy's fit.
Yeah, he doesn't look right. But even in midfield, bro, you need someone to run the game. And I don't think you've got anyone. Like Sarr's quite underrated. I think he's a good player. Maybe you should play him a bit more. But you need someone to actually run it. Not like Kulusevski in terms of going forward. I'm talking like a Rodri or a Rice in like the 6. Like, I'm not sure Bissouma's that guy. Sarr's kind of been there. Bentancur, still not sure what his best position is. Maddison, we've spoken about. Like, you've got quite all right midfielders. Do you see what I mean? And like up top as well. Like, I understand Son's not there anymore. Obviously, Richarlison, not too sure about that one, to be fair. So yeah, I don't know, man.
Do you reckon a better manager gets more out of this Spurs side?
Maybe not get more out of it, but definitely better tactically. Like that team is better than 10th.
Because I know what you're saying about Ange with, like, you can't work out how you can beat City and you can beat Villa, but then you go and lose to like Fulham. And I think it comes down to a lot of those teams are obsessed with one style. And then I think that's where Ange's style works, because it just counteracts a lot of these teams that are playing a certain way based around possession, that you can just be end to end and move the ball really quickly. And he's got like this certain style that he's obsessed with. But teams like Fulham and teams further down the table like Ipswich, I feel like they're willing to change it up a little bit and be a little bit more pragmatic and switch it up. And then that's what gets them results. And I feel like unless you are the top of the table, I know Man City are in an off patch, right? But Pep's pretty much played the same way since he's been here at every team he's been at. Unless you're on that sort of level, I think as a manager, you have to have a plan B. You have to be able to switch it up, because that's the best. That's the only way you can navigate a Premier League season of like 38 games, because you change it up for teams that are going to play in a different way. And I think that's something manager-wise has just disappeared out of the game.
What makes it harder is for the Artetas and the Anges and these attacking managers, the pool of players becomes a lot smaller because City snap them up. So these other managers who have more of a that's why Arteta, for me, has signed a lot more of these more physical players in Marinos and the Declan Rices, because it makes, like, I don't know if you saw Jamie Carragher's part on Monday Night Football, and he's basically saying that he signed more physical players because he knows technically the Man City squad is far superior. I look at Ange, and when Ange ball works, we can destroy teams. Like we have destroyed Aston Villa, or a good side. Last year we scored 4 past Newcastle. But it's in the other games where you're playing the Palaces, where you're playing the Ipswich, where you're playing the Leicesters, where you know they're going to have this defensive counter-attacking style, but we don't have a plan B to how do you stop their counter-attack. Well, your brain naturally would think, put your defensive line a little bit deeper so that it's harder for them to counteract you. I don't know if you saw the Aston Villa, the first set piece against Liverpool. They didn't have one single player back. Arne Slot saw that, so they just put a few of our players on the edge of our box so that if we counter, it's going to be a 3-on-1. And then what does Van Dijk do? Plays a ball through to Salah, and it's a 2-on-1 situation. Ange doesn't think like that. It's we're going to play Ange ball. It doesn't matter if we're playing Real Madrid or bloody Stoke City. Okay, that's fine. But what happens when Ange ball doesn't work? There is nothing in your brain going, what do we do? Where's the response? Like Man City, Guardiola changes his formation every 4 months. He goes to a 4-3-3, to a 3-5-2 with someone up front with Ireland. Then it's a 4-2-1-2, narrow. We don't. We play a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, but it's the same style. Attack. We've got 4 clean sheets. I see it on Twitter earlier. I think Vicario has got 1 clean sheet, or maybe 2 clean sheets in his last 24 games. I mean, that is absolutely disastrous. Our goal difference is +10 because we are outscoring a lot of teams. I think we may have 2 or 3 clean sheets this season in 11 games. We've got a clean sheet against Man United at Old Trafford, and we got a clean sheet against Everton. So in 11 games, we've got 2 clean sheets, which is actually the second worst in the league.
Mate, this is what I mean. Ange is just not. I can't believe anyone still wants Ange at the club. I know I have Jacob on here sometimes, and he talks about how he believes in Ange and he thinks he's going to be okay. I know him and Sav are always going at it, and I know you, Henry, have been quite vocal about Ange, but I don't really understand what Tottenham are waiting for. Do you know, when you see something, the manager? I had this chat with Lawless last night about Lopetegui. You know, when you think manager's fairly new, you give him time because you believe he deserves it, but he's shown me something that I can say he deserves time. Ange Postecoglou is shown one way, and that is I will play attack-minded football in every single game of a high line, and I don't care if it wins me 3-0 or loses me 3-0, I'm not changing it. And that is dangerous. That's not going to win you anything. That's going to win you some and lose you some, win you some and lose you some, and you will float in and around about, where you believe you want to be or should be, not want to be. So that's where we're at, man. That's where we're at. But listen, to close the show, I wanted to ask you both a question. 11th of November today, very fitting date for all reasons we know why. As of the 11th of November, what is your top 6? I'll start with you, Dan, then I'll come to Henry.
I would say...
This is in order, by the way.
Yeah, Liverpool, City, Arsenal. I'm going to say Chelsea. I think Chelsea do it. And then I actually think Spurs will get there. I think Spurs maybe get 5th. And I think Man United 6th.
Oh, no Villa. Wow. Okay.
No, I don't know about Villa. I just feel like they're not. I just think the Champions League might be creating too much of a hangover for them at the moment.
They're not performing either. They've won like one.
Nah,
of
they're
the last-
not.
They've been really poor, to be fair. But
And
it's so
Newcastle
hard.
are picking up form, so they could be there or thereabouts if Spurs don't pick it up. I think.
Yeah. Go on, Henry.
I'm going to back Liverpool to do it. City, Arsenal, Chelsea. That'll be the top 4. Then predicting 5th and 6th is like trying to win a lottery at the moment, because I'm actually going to throw a bit of a wild card out there. I think United will get 5th.
I thought you were going to say Brighton. You love them.
No, I do think, but to be fair, Brighton are,
because you
Brighton
predicted them to
only
beat
goal
City,
difference
and I
of
weren't having that.
Fabian Hertzler, 30 years old. What a manager! Or 31. He's younger than James Milner. So that'll be the top 4: Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea. 5th, I'm going to go United. And I'll back us for 6th. I think when Ruben comes in, they are going to get the fixtures they've got is absolutely brilliant for them. I think
when you look at even what Van Nistelrooy's done, like he's got something out of a squad that everyone was saying ain't good enough, because Ten Hag couldn't even get anything out of him, and then he's gone unbeaten, hasn't he? So they're obviously better.
4 games he's had, they've scored 11 goals.
Do you know what though? It will be funny, would it? If Amorim comes in and don't hit the ground running, they're all going to want Van Nistelrooy.
Can you imagine?
The games they've got coming, they've got Ipswich Town away, Everton at home, Arsenal away, Forest at home, City away, and then they've got Bournemouth, Wolves, Newcastle, Southampton, Brighton, Fulham, Liverpool, Palace, Everton. If he gets, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer went on this 15-game run, if Ruben does something like that, because I think people underrate how much a new manager bounce can do, which you've just seen with Van Nistelrooy. If he wins, let's say 7 of the 10 games, I know they're down in the absolute pits right now in 13th, but they're only 4 points off of 3rd. That is how mad this season is.
Yeah, isn't it? Like,
how can you be 4 points from 13th to 3rd? They're on 15 points, Man United, and Chelsea are on 19.
Insane, mate. Look, I will go with my 6. I'm going to go Man City still to win it. I am. I'm going to go Man City to win it. I know it's 5 points. If it gets any more than 6, I might start to go.
What about if Spurs and Liverpool both beat City in the next 2 games?
Then I think Liverpool will win it, but I don't think they will. I think Man City will be all right. So I will go with Man City still. I actually would prefer to see Liverpool win it because I'm sick of City. Even though it looks bad for Arsenal, I'm just sick of City. So I'll go City. I will go Liverpool 2nd, Arsenal 3rd, because I just think we've thrown it, if I'm honest. I know it's early, but I think we have. 4th, I'm going Chelsea. 5th, I'm going with Villa. I just think their squad is too good. They're going for a blip, but they will pick it up. And 6th is my hardest choice. It's between 3, Newcastle, Spurs, and United. I'm going to go Spurs because I don't think United, their squad is anywhere near good enough yet. I still don't. And I think Newcastle was just so inconsistent under Eddie Howe. I really fancied them for like Champions League this year. So have 1 game a week. They're starting to pick up a bit now, but they ain't looked amazing, if I'm honest. So I will go Spurs because they're that team that just win some, lose some, win some, lose some under Ange. And I just think that'll keep them in and around it. So that's what I'll go. I'll go Chelsea 4th, Villa 5th, and Spurs 6th. Yeah. But we'll see. Long way to go, that's for sure. Boys, absolute pleasure today. Thank you so much. Make sure you go follow Henry Talks Football and, of course, BDB Dan as well. Please stay tuned because this is going to redirect you to my channel where I'm going to be doing a show on Arsenal and the Cronkies and talking about the ownership and how much to blame they are of where we are in this position. So please make sure you do stay tuned. Big up to Henry. Big up to Dan. Thank you all so much for your interactions, comments, and your super chats. Big up to Suj again, and we'll see you next time. Take care, people.